the next agenda item. One of our sponsors that is having a booth over at the corner that is from StrategyExe. So AI has emerged as a very powerful catalyst that is capable of accelerating sustainable development across business and professions. We heard story from optimizing energy consumption and some of the example that Mr. Ho Seong-hin shared earlier in terms of enhancing safety practice. So let us now hear from Brad Quinn, the CEO of StrategyExe Pte Ltd, on how company and individual can harness AI in a smarter and sustainable manner. So over to you, Brad.
There we go. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to get the devices ready. I'm hoping that with the previous speakers, you've heard a lot about the theory, right, of AI and how hopefully we can put it into practice. Today, I'm going to show you how StrategyExe is actually putting it into practice. My hope from this discussion today is that you'll be able to go away and think about how am I going to use AI in my business. Okay, so we'll go to 2 slides here. Hopefully this will work. There we go. Okay, so good morning, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today with you, some of the brightest minds and the most dedicated professionals in safety and health, aka the real life superheroes, but with, I'm sure, a lot of paperwork and a few less capes. So I heard one of the previous speakers say this, and so I asked AI to write this speech. So if it goes well, I'm a genius. But if not, blame the robot. All right, so how far has AI come? I'm sure you've all seen this little trick, right? Now, if this doesn't work, again, blame the robot. But watch this. Who would ever have thought that years ago that this was even possible? How can I improve safety in the workplace?
There are lots of ways. Hey, what's up?
Sorry, I just got to interrupt the conversation. Give me 1 second here. Give me some suggestions. No, hang on, wait, sorry. Let's try this one. Ask me a question about how I can improve safety in the workplace.
Sure. What safety measures do you currently have in place at your workplace, and how do you think they could be improved?
Maybe I'll just put it on here. Here we go. We're going to try that one more time, and if not, you're going to do it at home after this. Okay? All right. How can I always get the question wrong. Ask me a question about how I can improve safety in the workplace. It does work. Ask me a question. We'll try it this way. Okay. Samsung better than iPhone. One more try. All right. One more try. If this doesn't work, this is not my fault, by the way. This is Samsung and iPhone. Right? Here we go. We'll try one more. Ask me a question about how I can improve safety in the workplace.
All right, how about this? What's one area in your workplace that you think could benefit the most from a safety upgrade, and why do you think that is? That's a great question. Identifying the area that needs the most improvement can lead to significant changes. Is there a specific spot? Sounds like you're in the middle of something there. Are you thinking about a specific area right now? Yeah, narrowing down a specific area can help you target improvements more effectively. Is there a spot you've been concerned about?
So you get the point, right? You can actually watch 2 phones have a full-on conversation. Sometimes the iPhone and Samsung, they're not very good, right? So we'll put them down. All right, so that's how far AI has come. Who'd ever thought that two phones could have a full-on conversation? So my name is Brett Quinn. I've been developing technology solutions for the last 20 years. And I have a passion for technology, but technology that specifically helps us execute and deliver on the goals and the dreams that we have as organizations. So I am excited to be here today to share my thoughts about how we can use AI to execute on our workplace, community, safety and health goals. This presentation will take about 30 minutes and then we'll have a 15-minute question and answer session at the end. So let me start by again confessing that I also asked ChatGPT to help me write this speech, but not because I'm lazy, because I wanted to prove a point. AI is not coming, it's already here. And it's not just helping us draft speeches. It's helping us save lives, prevent accidents, and build healthier and more resilient workplaces and communities. There is one question I would love for you to be able to take away from this presentation, and that is, how can I use AI to make our organization and our communities a safer and a healthier place? So I want to share with you two conferences that I attended. One in 2014, and it was when AI first came out, right? It was in the US. Everybody was there. NASA, 7-Eleven, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, everybody was there. And I wanted to come away from that conference knowing where the world was at with AI back then. And what I found was that everybody from all of these most famous CEOs were saying, we don't know what the best use cases are going to be yet. That was in 2014. Yesterday, I attended the StrategyExe AI conference at Marina Bay Sands. It's ongoing at the moment. And I'm walking around hundreds of exhibitors and I'm seeing all of these little use cases come out, right? But many of them, in my opinion, the use cases were not super clear. Oh, we do this, but how does that solve the problem? We do this. This is really cool. Check out this. But how does that actually solve the problem? Right? And it's still not clear. So what I'm hoping is that you can take away from this speech and from these discussions today, the question of how can I use AI to make the world a better place? All right, so people say that AI might take over the world. I say, let it try doing my inbox first. So the topic today of AI in action or executing with AI is not just about cool tech. It's about how we as decision makers, as leaders and doers, can harness that technology to make our workplaces safer and our communities healthier. We used to worry about people ignoring safety rules. Now we're training robots to ignore the rules faster. All right, so let's go on to the next slide. Oops, hang on. I think that's the one we should be on. No, we've got one more. Try again. I'm not sure. Can we go to the one back, I think? Hang on. We need to go to the Industrial Revolution slide. One more backwards. One more back, I think. No, maybe go forward again. Sorry. Leaders must change. Let's go one more. There we go. Okay. Oops, sorry. Go down one more. I think there might have been a slide out of place here. Here we go. Let's start here. All right. So we're now living through the fourth industrial revolution, a time defined by artificial intelligence, automation, and digital connectivity that is rapidly transforming the way we work, live, and interact. While this change can feel overwhelming, there is nothing to be afraid of. Like the revolutions before it, steam, electricity, computing, this era is simply the next step in our evolution as a society. Most of us are too young to have witnessed the previous industrial revolutions firsthand, yet we benefit from the progress that they brought because people decided to adapt to the change and embrace that change. Whilst AI is a revolution, it will still take years to evolve. I found this really interesting. It took 110 years between the first and the second industrial revolution. It took 80 years between the second and third industrial revolution, and it took 60 years between the third and the current industrial revolution. Can you spot the trend? Revolutions are happening so much faster, okay? And I think now with AI, not only are those revolutions going to continue to happen really fast, but we're going to be able to solve problems much faster. So if you didn't like change before, I would suggest that you might not like the next few years. All right, now the same will be true now. With the right mindset, continuous learning, and an openness of new ways of thinking, we can not only survive this revolution, but we can also thrive in it. So let's dive in with a little bit of humor and a lot of strategy and a clear roadmap for what we need to do for the future. AI, now I'm going to just abandon this for a moment. Can we go back to the slide with why it even matters, please? So AI is transforming workplace safety. So now instead of saying a human caused this, we can say the AI misunderstood the human's error. We can have a different excuse. But let's start with why this even matters. Every year, millions of workers around the world are injured on the job. Many more suffer, and you heard this before, from stress, fatigue, mental health issues, and it goes unnoticed until it's too late. Communities deal with population, overcrowding, outdated infrastructure, and I guess we all know this, right? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of these problems are preventable. And that's where AI comes in. Not to replace us, but for us to use it as a tool to catch what we miss, to predict what we can't, to act faster and smarter and in ways that we've never been able to before. AI isn't a silver bullet, but it's a very powerful tool in the safety professional's toolkit, right next to the high-vis jackets and all those checklists, and one team member that decides that he really doesn't need to wear a helmet. So can we have a look at what AI in action really looks like? There's a slide on there. There we go. So look, I'm not going to dwell on this stuff because I'm sure you've heard a lot, but predictive analysts, right? Predictive analytics. It can analyze historical incident data. I'm going to show you that demo in a moment, right? And it'll show you stuff and tell you stuff that you never would have picked up. Imagine knowing where a safety incident is most likely to occur before it actually happens. Computer vision, I'm sure you've all seen that. You know, you go into shopping centers and you can see it sort of following you around. Of course, you can apply that to a use case of understanding whether someone's wearing PPE, whether they're going to walk into a danger zone. All of these things that I'm talking about today are things that I want you to be able to go, how can I apply AI in my job and in my workplace? Natural language processing, analyzing emails, even audio logs to surface risks or emerging issues, again, that we would never have seen before. Robotic process automation. I think this is probably the biggest, personally, it's one of the biggest areas where you think about those repetitive tasks that you have to do that don't add any value, but you've got to do it. There is, without doubt, And if you haven't already seen it, just jump on the internet. There is without doubt this ability now to automate everything that you would do in front of a computer. You have to go into a web application, you have to go into an Excel file, you have to go into something else. You can automate all of it now. And yes, AI can even tell when the lunchroom fridge needs cleaning, but unfortunately it won't go and clean it for you. All right, so here's the catch, right? So let's go to the leaders slide. I think the leaders slide in there. None of this happens magically. Just think about what we have to do already in business today. We have to get smart and capable individuals, put them in a room with a purpose, and we have to build high-performing teams. The only difference between now and the future will be that some of those individuals will be robots and AI, but we've still got to build high-performing teams. So it's going to take leadership, and you heard this from some of the previous speakers, a commitment to purpose, and let's not forget, we're still going to have to execute. I haven't seen any AI taste yet. I haven't seen it touch a barbecue and say, oh, that was hot. There's a lot that it can't do, right? You're all invited to my house for a barbecue. Just don't touch it. All right, so AI will not solve safety and health problems by itself. It needs us, the leaders, to ask the right questions, define the right goals, and ensure that AI isn't just deployed, but it's deployed to execute. And our role, whilst there's lots of roles out there for data scientists, our role is to become AI literate leaders. And we have to ask, I think there's a next slide on here of the 5 steps. What problem are we solving? You have to ask that. What data do we need to solve that problem? The checklist that you've got from the field, the forms. How will we measure success? How do I know when you've been successful? And most importantly, will this actually make people and our communities, our workplaces safer and healthier? Ask yourself, how can you use AI in your role to make the workplace and our community healthier and safer? All right, so we've spoken about those 5 steps. They've been on the screen there. I'm going to skip over this for a moment, make it all a bit quicker. So what does the future look like? There is no doubt that with the rise of AI agents, the workforces of the future will be a mix of digital workers and human workers. But I fundamentally believe that just like how we have used frameworks of the past to guide human behavior, we're still going to need frameworks to guide the future, to keep those robots and those humans together. I really don't think that putting 3 super intelligent AI agents in a room without any direction, without any purpose, is going to add any value at all. At StrategyExe, we've spent 5 years building a framework that will allow AI agents and humans to work together as high-performing teams to solve the world's problems. That's what we believe for the future of our product. We've got to get on the front foot to get the digital workforce to work with the human workforce to make sure we achieve the outcome. So before we move into seeing AI in action, I'd like to say this. It's our job not to resist the future, but to shape it. With clear goals, ethical boundaries, and a relentless focus on creating safer and healthier workplaces and communities. But just remember this, at the end of the day, AI is just a tool. It's not a workplace. It's not a community. And it's not a society. The real intelligence is in this room. So now I'm going to take a walk over here and I'm going to grab the mic and I'm going to show you a demo. It's only going to go for about 5 minutes, but I'm going to show you real AI in action and how we're applying it to industry. Bear with me one moment. Build. I'm not sure how it's going to fix. I'm not sure how it's going to fix my spelling. Build a website to help me sell hamburgers. Okay, and let's go enter. Oh, there we go. We need to sign in first. Mick, have you got a Google account here, Mick? Yeah. Do you want to just try and, can you just, Mick Hannum, 1 second, continue. All right, here we go. Full demo. Okay, here we go. Let's do that again. All right, so what you can see at the top here is Mike, the team leader, Emma, the product manager, Bob, the architect, Alex, the engineer, and David, the data analyst. Now, what's happening in the background is Mike has read what I've asked him to do, and it's initializing it here. It says that it's automatically handing the request in the background. So what it's doing is Mike is trying to figure out, as a team leader, here we go. Mick said, build me a website. Mike, the team leader, says, I'm thinking. And Mike's thinking about this. What's going to happen is the team leader's saying, okay, I need a homepage, I need this, I need this, I need this. And in a moment, Mike is going to hand it over to Alex. Oh, there we go. Alex, the engineer. She said, Mike, the team leader, said, hey, Alex, jump in here. Alex jumped in. He's read what the team leader wants, and he's now thinking about what he needs to do to actually create this. He's now writing the code to build the website. In a moment, he's going to hand this over to Emma, the product manager, and the product manager, she's going to come up with all the marketing stuff to, get out there, and then going to hand it over to Bob, and then going to hand it over to Dave, the data analyst. All I wanted to do with this demo here is just show you how AI agents are going to become, will take on the roles of people, some people. And what I wanted you to take away from this demo is how they work together, not necessarily just one ChatGPT prompt. It's how they work together. So I could take that, put it into a repository, and it actually shows you the website at the end, and it's amazing. All right, so let's jump off that one, and let's go and jump on to StrategyExe. So our focus at StrategyExe, I think I mentioned a moment ago, is to join the dots between AI and real work, close the gaps between the robots and the humans. That's what we want to do. I'm going to just show you the StrategyExe platform now and share with you, can you remember how long it used to take you to write your organization's strategic plan? Now, I've put one in here just that says, well, one of the areas we've got to get good at is safety. Now, watch this for a moment. I need to help me break safety down. And I want it to help me understand what are the subsets of safety. So what we've done here is we've taken a framework, we've plugged in the artificial intelligence, and it says to me, well, one of the things that you've got to consider is data security. Okay, I'm going to add that to my plan. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that subset and I'm going to say, can you make me a goal, please? Because we know how bad humans are at creating smart goals. I just click one button. And now Sam is StrategyExe's automated manager. He's going to come up with a bunch of goals that are absolutely smart. I go, yeah, well, that's appropriate. I want to reduce the data breach. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Now, I could have selected all of those, right? Then I'm going to say, but what KPI, what measure should I use to monitor that goal? And what you're looking at is you're looking at the intelligence of AI in the background, you're looking at a framework that's been built by a human, and you're looking at how they're both working together. So I'm going to measure my success with data breach reduction. I'm going to add that. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say, but what initiative should I put in place first? I'm going to now add a project. It's already set up the dashboard for me in the background, and I'm going to say, what project should I do? Sam's thinking. And I want to take you to one more level after this. And Sam says, well, why don't you implement advanced detection threat systems? Well, that makes sense. And I think I want that due by next week. Done. And add the project. So now, what I've just done in a matter of minutes is I've effectively created my strategy around safety, data security, a goal, a measure, and a project. And finally, I want to go inside that project, and I just want to ask Sam, because I'm not really sure, which action should I do to execute on this project? And Sam's going to come up with the actions, and it's going to say, hey, well, you need to do this, 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 and this. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose who's responsible for them. I'm going to set a due date on them, and I need to conduct a needs assessment. That's good. I think it's probably going to take me about an hour, and I want that due on that date. Done. And I add it. Now, there's been a couple of human interactions in that process, right? But we're getting very, very close to just making all of that happen with one click. Now, the point here is that someone's now got to go away and actually do those actions, right? They've got to implement them in real life. So now strategic planning, and you'll see in a moment how we make strategy execution work, is happening in minutes through artificial intelligence. So let's just go over to a measure for a moment. Let's go and have a look at this this dummy data in return on investment, break even months. So if you don't know what that KPI is about, just ask AI to help you understand what are the drivers of that particular measure. Now, remember how long it used to take to write the report? Click the report and ask AI to write the report. It will now write the report. It will tell you what the industry benchmarks are. It will tell you what the trend analysis is, and I can insert it into the report. I'm now going to ask, can you make a prediction for what's going to happen? The actual line will be that, because a recent trend shows fluctuations, a tendency to increase, especially after significant deviations. So what you're seeing is AI, the engine, the intelligence, being used in a very structured framework to produce a particular outcome. And I think that that's what we need to do as a society. We need to think about how we can harness this technology, how we can use it, how we can structure it. All right, so just very quickly, imagine how AI can help us in auditing. Imagine how AI can help us in investigations. Imagine how it can help us in, and I'm just going to scroll over here to risks, in inspections, in managing change, in engineering processes. Right, we've taken all of these critical competencies that businesses and managers need to have, and we've put the framework in here, and we're now in the process of integrating the engines. Imagine how much faster we can keep employees happier. Imagine how much faster we can keep customers happier. Finally, final part of the demonstration here. I want to show you this because it's very, very cool. Let's talk. We get stuck in our day, right? We're doing our day and we get stuck. So now I want to talk to Sam.
Welcome to StrategyExe. I'm Sam. How's your day going?
It's going well, thanks, Sam.
Glad to hear it. How can I help you today?
I'd like you to please thank the National Safety Council of Singapore for allowing us to give this presentation and to ask if there are any questions we can help with.
Thank you to the National Safety Council of Singapore for the opportunity to present today. If there are any questions or areas we can assist with, please feel free to ask.
Now, just watch one more thing. I'm going to unmute this video for a moment. I'm going to frown. Just watch his face. Now I'm going to smile. It's crazy, right? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time and watching this presentation. I don't know, do we have 5 minutes for questions? If anybody wants to take any questions, 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad. A fascinating presentation. All right, we do have mic around the room. So any questions for Brad? This is a golden opportunity for you to ask questions. You can ask your AI as well.
Yeah, I should. Can I grab Sam? No, I'm kidding. We'll ask Sam in a moment. Any questions? Anything that you're worried about? I really want that question of, like, is it going to do my job, do me out of a job? Any questions at all? You're all just, we know what we've got to do. Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. It's very, very interesting. And I don't think I've ever seen this kind of thing before. I suppose when you have this platform, then the data that you put in to build the system to enable Sam to answer the question and then pull out all these different category of things would be quite important. Like, I don't know how that works. Would you just pull data from the very general different industries to feed in your model? And then how do you ensure that for a specific organizational need, it's tailored enough, the quality is good enough for the senior management to look at the output and say that, oh, actually it does make sense, rather than, oh no, this looks too general. It doesn't really fit our needs.
Yeah, it's a really good question. So 2 questions in there. Like, I think I'm going to start with the second part of that. How do we make sure that then managers can then recognise that it's okay, right? We're trying to solve 80% of the problem. So, it's the way we use ChatGPT today. We ask it just these questions and then you go, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Or, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. I think that what we're trying to do is just at least help people get to the 80% level. The 20%, they're still going to have to go, do I really feel this? Do I really believe it? So I think it's more about addressing the 80% of the issue. Going back to your first question about data privacy, it's a really great question, right? And so there's a couple of things. As a software platform, we host our data through either Azure or AWS, the big providers, right? Now, those big providers, we only plug in to their system. We literally take our app and we plug it in. And that's why they've made so much money, right? They get their $500 out of us every month and everyone else. Now, they spend billions of dollars on securing those, that infrastructure. So the cool thing today about data privacy and security is that, your data and your information is actually protected in most cases with cloud apps through AWS, through Azure, those big providers. So that's a good thing. The second part of this about data is that we all know that these AI models run on LLMs, right? The large language models. So ChatGPT is one, right? And it's accessible to everybody. But what's becoming very popular now is splitting out those LLMs and having them on your own server in your own country, with your own data, but then feeding it the outside data to be able to, if you want to be able to give it more intelligence, right? So just like there was years ago where you could get an app and it was one cloud-based, but it didn't matter where in the world you were. It was always our data is hosted here in Singapore, someone else's data is hosted in the US. So the discussion about how we break those LLMs out that drive AI and where we host the data it's really, I think, well progressed. But it's that question that we'll, as software providers, technology providers, will continue to ask, continue to answer. Really important. Any other questions? Yes.
Please also say your name and then the organization that you work with and the question. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. I'm Kumar from New Star, and I'm in the oil and gas industry. So the question is, if we purchase this software, how does it enhance our company performance in terms of audits or strategy, that goal setting, all this, how it can help us?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So from two perspectives, the hard thing about execution, about getting something done, is always the bottlenecks. It's always the pieces that you've got to try to plug together, right? It's always, I did my job, but he didn't do their job. I did my job, he did his job, but she didn't do her job, right? So what we've done in the platform is we've made sure that each steps of those processes are so linked and integrated to each other that they can't be forgotten about. Someone cannot make a decision just to ignore it, right? It's going to flag in the system as a, you haven't done your job, right? So we've taken these very fragmented processes and we've made sure through technology that they're so connected that you cannot get out of those, those processes. To say, how is it going to add value? Great question. And this at the end of the day, as I said in my speech, you have to ask yourself, is this really going to make a difference? And to do that, you've got to understand how you're going to measure it, right? So we want to increase the revenue in our business, so revenue becomes the measurable factor, right? So what we've done in StrategyExe is, because you will put your measures of success, or you'll help Sam come up with your measures of success, you'll put them in the platform. The platform knows whether you're improving or not. So on our central dashboard, at any point in time, you could go on there and go, I've increased my revenue by 30%. I've reduced the number of my incidents by 20%. So it's always about understanding the measure of success and then obviously, creating the actions around that. Now, the way AI works in the platform is that if that measure of success, I want to increase my revenue, is not going up, the AI is going to go, but why? And have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And it's going to start to give you suggestions about what you could do to fix it. We're so confident in our product to do that, and it's not really us. We're just housing it. You're the one with the intelligence. Is that we offer a 5-time return on investment guarantee, meaning that if you spend $3,000 with our platform, if in 1 year, if we can't prove to you that you've got a $15,000 improvement, you get the platform for free. And because we can see the measures of success. We can see whether you're executing on those measures of success. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe one last question.
Maybe I ask the question? Since
Great.
Nobody is. I was here waiting for somebody to ask, but nobody asked, so I will ask.
Lovely.
So my understanding from listening to your presentation, I'm a novice in using technology. So I started with using Google many years ago. If I have a question, I ask Google. Then, now I've started using ChatGPT. I find from my Google days to ChatGPT, I get a lot more relevant answers to what I'm asking. Are you saying that with your software, if I'm a safety professional, it is so targeted to the safety area of strategy development in safety, for example, we can get even better answers than what we get from a generic AI tool like ChatGPT.
Is our strategy, right? Our customers are achieving their goals. That's our vision. I just want to know that you're achieving your goals. Our mission is ensuring the managers have the competencies required to achieve your goals. You can see it all mapped in there. What you can't see is there's another module in there for your marketing. There's another module in there for your audits. There's another module in there for this. So what it does is when you're asking questions, it's looking at all of your company data and it's giving you responses based on the information that you've got in there. So yeah, it will become more specific the more you use the platform. Thanks for the question. No more questions?
We actually have a few more minutes.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Great opportunity for you to ask questions to Brett while he's on stage. So do take the opportunity.
Who likes or who gets involved with audits? Audits? You're the only lucky person in the room, right? We have an audit module in the system, and now when you can point that intelligence at your company documents, it will be able to tell you where your gaps are from a documented perspective. And it will make findings. It will make recommendations. It will assign actions. And if those actions can be done by a computer, it will engage the next agent to do the action. Where does that leave us in this big picture? Here's my personal opinion. Process engineering, understanding how our role works, understanding what we have to do in the business to make it more efficient, to make it safer, to make it healthier, is a process. My advice is that if you think you're in a transactional role and you can see automation, basically taking over your job, one of the gentlemen, it might have been the president, or I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he said that it won't take the people that will be around in 12 months, 2 years' time are the people that know how to use AI to make their jobs more efficient. Now, here's the point, right? You're not ever going to be done out of a job because the world's going to have endless problems, challenges, I should say, right? What we're going to be able to do is and what I encourage you to do is learn how to solve them faster, and you will have a job in the future, well into the future. So those people that take the time to do themselves out of a job currently are the ones that are going to have a job in the future. My personal opinion. Any other last questions? It's an exciting time to be alive. Like, I guess as an entrepreneur, we like solving problems, right? We love trying to find the solution. And now we've just been given a tool that's going to help us do all of that. I haven't harped on the issues that it's going to cause, privacy, security, governments and all that sort of stuff. But you know what? I've resigned myself to the fact that I'm going to be the person that just helps make it work on the ground. Any other last questions at all? It's been a pleasure. Thanks again, everybody. We'll be out there, so if you feel like coming to have a chat, I'll promise you get to chat to a real human. Thanks, everybody.